Let me know if you can hear me now, Tavaga. I think I've sorted the problem out. Yes, Blue Morning to you. How are you doing? Again, I'm just going to go through what I've said before. I said today we're going to talk about the obvious. We're going to be talking about two academy talents that the club shouldn't even consider or shouldn't even, how do I phrase it, entertain, the move by other clubs to sign them. I think the club shouldn't even entertain that at all. Why? For instance, Conor Gallagher is a talent that's very unique. It's a talent that's a mashup of so many qualities, that you only see. In some cases, you see a player who has flair, but he lacks in strength, lacks in physicality, and sometimes you see a player that is good, that's very physical, that's quick, and that has power but lacks in flair. But Conor Gallagher, he has all those things. Conor Gallagher has flair. Conor Gallagher has he can be physical if need be. Conor Gallagher also, he's good on the ball. He has everything, and he's a creator too. So that's what makes him uh, different. Nice to see you here, Hams Master. I will put the link to the panel in the chat a bit, so that if you have time, you can join me. So Conor Gallagher is you could argue he's a generational talent, because it's rare these days that you see a player that has flair, power, physicality, and more importantly, he's a creator. So that makes him very different. And the talks that clubs are looking to sign him, it's serious. It's not a joke, because they see what he can bring to a team. So it will be a huge, huge mistake for Chelsea Football Club to even consider selling the kid. A perfect example of what defines Conor Gallagher is this game. Conor Gallagher, and more thanks for Squeaker for giving me the permission to always use snippets of the statistics when I'm discussing a player. In this case, they say Conor Gallagher completed the most take-on during Crystal Palace a 0, Manchester 0 game, and no player on the pitch won up more fouls. Again, overall of that description tells you how committed of a player, that is how much commitment he always puts in whenever he's on the pitch. He made 8 total, he won 8 total, he went for 8 total duels. He won 4 takens, and he completed also, he attempted 4 takens and completed 4 takens, and also won 4 fouls. That is great to see. At his age, I think you can say he's a generational talent. And given what I've said before, he is a talent that, that's a mashup of physicality, energy, strength, power, however you want to put the pace, and also flair. I think he's he's a rare kind of player. Not every player has those all those factors combined. You rarely see that in a single individual. So now I'm going to put the link to the panel in the chat, so that anybody that has time can join me in the panel. If not, I can go solo, and believe me, it will still be fun. Link to the panel. Yep, there you go. And I will pin the message. If you have time, I'd appreciate it if you can join me on the panel. And right now, I'm going to go, before I continue again, I'm going to breeze through the comments in the chat to see what the people have to say, because this is an interactive show. Unless I forget, remember, for 8 days, we will be selecting one person as an individual, a lucky individual every day. We need 8 individuals that will get a chance to participate in the Roman Abramovich tribute contest. And if anybody makes it to the final and wins, they win $180 in prize money. Let me go ahead and look at it. Hamsmaster says hello, and I said hello to you already. He said we haven't seen him versus a low block yet. I think that's a good point there. But at least you can say every other aspect that we need to assess his capabilities, assess, his mentality as a player. I think we've had the opportunity to do those. I think he's performed against such teams as Manchester City. I think that proves that he's a player, that he has a mentality to deal, to be on his own and in big games, and that is good to see because so usually the issue is when you see a young talent blossoming, but when they get the chance to play against big teams, they falter. But in the case of Conor Gallagher, he's played against teams as Manchester City, but he's done it well. But I get your point. Yeah, you make a very, very good point. The truth is, we haven't seen him play against low block teams, and that's a problem. That is something we need to see because that's a problem we have now. Our current team, that's a problem we have now. I think the technical issue is still happening, but I think it's not that bad yet. Again, like I said, yeah, you make a good point there because the current team, one of the biggest problems we have is that we seem to struggle against low block teams and so we need players that are capable of helping us, navigate low block teams because that happens all the time. Yeah, good question, Coachila. Where are you? I'm still having a bit of technical issues. I hope it doesn't repeat again. I'm not sure why that is happening, but he should come to Chelsea at times. Yeah, he should come back home, even though we haven't seen him play against low block teams. And I think, given that he's young. And again, what it takes to beat low block teams is the ability to be able, to move with the ball on your feet and try and navigate the low blocks and find space, either create space for your teammates or take a shot from outside the 18. So, yeah, excuse me, I had to take a sip of that coffee so I don't fall asleep because, yeah, I am really tired. But that's by the way. Let me see if I have anything in the chat to talk about. Hit the like button, people. Yes, hit the like button. That's important. And he says, Coach, where are you? Good question. As I've mentioned before, I'm still having a bit of technical issues. I hope it doesn't persist. But that's by the way. And with that, I ask you, no matter where you're watching from, please take some time. Hit that like button. It doesn't cost anything. And if anybody asks you to pay, tell them I've already paid for you. And please don't forget to smash that like button again. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That goes a long way for the channel. Tobago says Conor is young. I believe under Tuchel can do well because he got energy. Also, he is a Chelsea boy through and through. That's the truth. So he will give it his all. And I think like this statistics on the screen shows you that he's a player. Whenever he's on the pitch, he gives 100%. He never relents until the man in the middle blows his whistle. And I think we can all say that since his loan move to Crystal Palace, he's been in brilliant form. And again, he hasn't relented ever since. And the good thing is to hear him talk about how he wants to come back to Chelsea. He really loves the club and would want to come back to the club and start games. And I think that will happen. With that, I'm going to look at this here. Why I chose for us to discuss this topic, this Blue Morning episode, is the fact that I read this tweet from my friend Harry. At first I saw the tweet. He says, I don't care if it is 25 million, 50 million, or even 75 million. We should, at the very least, give Conor Gallagher a chance at Chelsea before thinking about selling him. It costs a lot more getting another player or buying him back in the future. Yes, it costs a lot more getting another player or buying Conor Gallagher back in the future. Should we sell him and add a buyback clause, which I think will be the last resort. But I think Tuchel has shown interest in the kid, given that showing that he loves him. And this tweet here from Harry, my friend Harry, is in reference to the report from Chelsea Loan Army that Chelsea are quoting at least 50 million to even start a conversation over the transfer of Conor Gallagher. I think Okay, no problem, Nick Blue. Nick Blue, I see that. I think we shouldn't even consider selling him. Like, what's his name? Like Harry, my friend Harry noted, we should at least give the kid a chance, of course, before considering selling him. Like, again, I'll look at what Thomas Tuchel had to say about the kid in a bit before we continue. And this is Tobago saying, I watched him throughout his loan. I think he's loved everywhere. Yes, again, one thing about players, good players, is that if you're good and you always give 100% on the pitch, I think there's hardly a fan base, a manager that will not like you. Even opposition teams sometimes will like you because you give 100%, and that's what makes him different. He runs the whole game as if he doesn't get tired. That makes a huge difference. Nick Blue says, I would be with big up everyone. And this Tobago saying, hit the like button. Yes, please do smash that like button. That goes a long way for the channel. And here, Dread68 says, morning, my Chelsea brother. Good morning to you, my Chelsea brother. Connor must stay. Chelsea till with yes, Chelsea till the fat lady sings in the church. I will never stop supporting Chelsea for any reason. If there is any chance for me to express my, you know, my anger at anything that the club is doing wrong, I would do so, but I would never stop supporting the club. That bond is more. It has become even more stronger because I've been through the thick and thin with the club. But that's by the way. And please, with that on that note, I say if you haven't, please be sure to like the video. The more we like the video, the more YouTube would push it to more people who are interested in the topic that we are discussing. And if you haven't, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And I see somebody has subscribed already. That will go a long way for us. I hope we hit at least 1,300 total subscribers today as the channel continues to grow. Yes, thank you very much, Dread68. Nice to see you. Big up, Dread. And again, Coach, I will be with you in 10 minutes, says Nick Blue. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. Nick Blue also, not even for 100 million as good as Grealish. Yep, I think one thing makes there's one area where you could say uh, Conor Gallagher is better than a Jack Grealish. He's more physical. You could say he's quicker, and he's also I think he's more confident than Jack Grealish. I know some people will say that is too much. No, it is not too much. This is from what I've seen so far regarding Conor Gallagher. He's young, but he's a very confident player. The magnitude of the games he plays in doesn't matter, doesn't affect his performance. You'd see him always giving 100%. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's quicker. He's more physical than Jack Grealish, and he seemed to not be affected by the size of the occasion. That's why he's a special player, and that's why I think Chelsea shouldn't even consider selling him even for 100 million, because if it's sold for 100 million, you probably the buyback clause will be around around you should say 150 a million. And I think I have Sid in the house. Sid, how are you doing today, my brother?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. I know you know the topic we're talking about already. We're talking about why Chelsea Football Club must not consider selling Conor Gallagher and Armando Broja. Now we're talking about Conor Gallagher. Your thoughts? Do you think the club should consider selling him at any price at all, given what we've seen so far?
No, I don't think the club could consider him selling because he is perfect replacement for N'Golo Kante, I guess. The amount of intensity he showed in last game against Arsenal was immense. He
Hmm.
just ran
I
with
think
a
your
player
audio
having
is
seven
kind of
minutes.
is kind of breaking up. I can hardly hear what you're saying.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying that we should not consider him selling because he is perfect replacement for N'Golo Kante. You can see how
Even
much
better.
intensity.
Even better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he is perfect replacement of N'Golo Kante because the amount of intensity he brought in last match against Arsenal and before even the match against City, he was phenomenal.
Yep. He's indeed a phenomenal player. like I've established before as the show started, is that he's a mashup of every quality that defines great players. And even some players don't have, so you see players, a very, very skillful player, but that player lacks, in terms of physical aspect of the game. A prime example is Jack Grealish. He's very skillful, but physically he's so poor. But for Conor Gallagher, he's physical. He can be physical. He's got great energy. He's got power. He's got pace, and he's got flair too. So that's one thing those are what the qualities that make him special. And there's so much, so much he can achieve as a player. He hasn't even scratched the surface yet. So I wouldn't even consider selling him. But why I am concerned because I saw this tweet from my friend Harry, which reads, I don't care if it is 25, 50, 75 million. We should, at the very least, give Conor Gallagher a chance at Chelsea before thinking about selling him. I don't think we should even, we shouldn't even, how do I phrase it,
Even
pay attention to
entertain a bid.
anybody. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should not even entertain a bid from anybody because Thomas Tuchel like him, and he is a coach who likes to play with the players who have intensity in their game. That's why he
Mm-hmm.
like players who can press from the front, which is
Mm-hmm.
Lukaku lacking. And you see the other person, Armando Broja, he is playing in a Southampton system where you have to press from front and you have
Mm-hmm.
to counter attack also, and he has the pace, which is Lukaku clearly lacking. He doesn't have the mindset to play in this Chelsea shirt.
Yeah, I think we don't even have to look too far to find Tuchel's comments on the kid. Tuchel has stated during his one of his press conferences that he's liked Conor Gallagher since the moment he started training with him, and that's huge. That's give an insight on how he has a future. I think he has future plans for him. And if you ask me, I'd
Yeah,
say probably the kid himself. I think for it was good that he went out on loan. That's important because had he stayed, he wouldn't be a starter now. But he'd play some games. That's the truth. But I think it was. I think I'd say it's a good plan that he's out on loan where he's had the time to play, week in, week out, and even show more of what he can do to Thomas Tuchel. I don't think Tuchel himself would consider, you know, the club. I don't think he'd let the club sell him. I think recently, actually, he made a statement that, yeah, we're happy that he's a Chelsea player. And I think he's looking forward to having him next season. And the kid himself, during an interview, I think it was with Rio Ferdinand, said, please make sure to let them know that his plans is to come back and play for Chelsea Football Club. And that is music to my ears. And again, if you look at in the midfield area, we have, you can say we have aging players. We have players of which
yes.
we're not sure about their future. We're not really sure about the future of Jorginho at this point. Even Kante, you could argue we're not sure about his future right now because he still hasn't renewed his contract. I mean, we can't talk about that right now because of the current situation at the club. And if you look at Kante, you can see that he's given naturally at this age, he's not the Kante he used to be. And I don't think Tuchel has figured out a way to play him to still get the best out of him. We're seeing some errors that are incorrect. That are not you wouldn't talk about when N'Golo Kante is on the pitch, but these days he has repeated on occasion that is clear that he's not the Kante that he used to be. That doesn't mean he's a bad player right now. I'm just giving instances why we need a Conor Gallagher back. I think we're not sure. I think in the midfield area we really do lack a lot, and the difference between him, Mason Mount, I think he can do better playing deeper on the pitch. Your thoughts, Seed?
I think he, as I said, is perfect for replacement for Kante because he can play from the back just like Kante dribbles from the back. He has a focus to go front, but Kante is not the person who can find final third pass, but he can, and he showed us at Palace the amount of assists and goals he has scored. He showed us that he has the calmness that we want from a midfielder that can finish also in the box. Our midfielders can't finish in the box. We all know that. No, none of our midfielder is capable of scoring. Kante pops
Yeah,
up
and
with one
yeah,
or two.
yeah, I think you make a great point. I think we have a set of midfielders whose goal contribution, even in terms of assist, in terms of even scoring goals, it's nothing to be proud about. Our midfield since the reign, or even under since the reign of Frank Lampard, you could say has been poor in terms of goals contributions, goals contribution. I think that needs to change. And then I think Connor brings that with him. He brings goals, he brings assists, he brings energy, and all those things we've talked about. So I think had our midfield been productive in terms of assists and goals, I think we wouldn't be, relying, complaining so much about our attackers not scoring too many goals. I think, you made a very, very good point. I think he changes that if we have him in the team. And if you see him play, you don't see him make those, silly mistakes, or let me just say, those type of mistakes you see from young talents, in their who's 19, 18, or even 20, you see them make some mistake. You say, yeah, that comes with the age, with the territory of that player's age. But you think he's in his he's 24, 25. No, but he's not that old yet. And that makes a huge difference. What do you think about the fact that he plays like he's, so experienced? You'd never know he's still in his early 20s. Is he 20 yet? Actually, let me not be wrong.
I think it's 20. He is
Oh
20
yeah,
years
yeah,
old.
exactly. What do you think about the fact he plays like he's been playing for ages?
I think here we have to give credit to Patrick Vieira because he has changed him a lot. Because Patrick Vieira was a proper box to box go midfielder, and he has made him also that. Patrick Vieira was known for his intensity. He has made that kid run so much that he has seven lungs. People call him with people with seven lungs. He's playing like a madman, and I saw that game fully because of him against Arsenal, and I was mesmerized by his playing style because he pressed a lot, and he's not just a person who just like running and running. He has the brain to find a pass and also
Mm.
to finish if he's getting a chance.
Yeah, I think he's getting a chance definitely because Thomas Tuchel he has everything that Thomas Tuchel likes in players. He has his pressing is brilliant. His pressing is brilliant. The last game they played, my gosh, I watched him at 90%. He worked tirelessly, and I was thinking he didn't score a goal, but the fact is one of the reasons why Manchester City didn't really. I think it was against Manchester City. I think they didn't really play their game. He was one of the reasons he was
Yeah,
everywhere. He was. You can see him in the opening half, in the midfield, and in the defense also contributing. And like you said, I think some credit to Patrick Vieira for the way I think he's nurtured him. If you want, I think,
yeah,
and I think we're lucky to have such a legendary midfielder, especially in the Premier League, be his tutor at Crystal Palace. I think that will go a long way for the kid. And also, we have to give credit to the kid himself because the sort of commitment we see in him, you don't see that in every player. You don't see that in every player. It is a rare. So that makes him a very, very special player. Here, Glenn says, I can see us lose one of Kante, Georgie, to be frank. Again, here's the thing. Thomas Tuchel, I think he values, whether we like it or not, I've seen that he values Jorginho. And Jorginho on his own, playing alongside a defensively solid player, you'd never see him make silly mistakes. Of late, yeah, you could argue he's looked mentally tired. But on his day, when he's mentally fit, playing alongside another midfielder, that is when we deploy two sixes, when Jorginho plays alongside another midfielder who's defensively sound, he hardly makes those silly mistakes. And again, those mistakes he makes comes with the territory, in the fact that he's traditionally what is called a register, whose primary role in a team is to control the tempo of the game, connect the defense with the midfield and the attack. So I think Thomas Tuchel, I think he likes Jorginho. And what Jorginho brings to the team, we don't have any other person that brings that to the team. And that's why whenever we don't have Jorginho or whenever he doesn't play well, we struggle to control games. And Thomas Tuchel, the way he plays, he likes to control games. Again, so I don't. It's difficult to tell who leave, but most definitely it will never be Kovacic. I think Kovacic is very special. And again, you must remember, I think he has the highest assist so far this season. If I'm right, I think
No,
that's he.
I think Mason Mount is having the highest assist, but from midfield, he's having the highest assist for us.
Yeah, at the time it was him. So probably because he got injured, I think Mason had the mount has the opportunity to overtake him. I think you're
Yeah.
correct, but I don't see Thomas Tuchel letting Kovacic go. He likes him so much that he made a comment. The comment it came across very funny due to the language he used. He said, "I wake him up in the middle of the night. He's ready to go." Although we understand what it means, but that's funny for obvious reasons. Coming back to you, your thoughts on which of the three players, like Glenn mentioned, to me, obviously, it's not going to be Kovacic. If you're thinking Kante or Jorginho, even Kante would be difficult to say. We'll be letting him to go because if we can find a way to use him, his age doesn't really matter. He's a special player. Your thoughts there, Seed?
I think we can use Kante as a player who is for special games, and we can give him a running here and there. So, and we need to replace him because he ran so much, and he's playing with the same style for 7 years in Premier League, and it's
Hmm.
not a short time.
Hmm.
At some point after the injuries came, he's now most likely to be considered as a big game player. And we should give chance to Conor Gallagher because he is a person who resembles same as Kante, who has the final third quality. So
Hmm.
I think Kante is not going to leave. He's going to extend the contract because of the current situation. He's not able to extend the contract, but Tuchel said yesterday also that his priority is to extend contract of Jorginho and Kante.
Yeah, you
But I
make a
think
very very good argument there. I want to ask you this question, Seed. Your thoughts on because I've seen people argue that I think it was on during the last show that when he comes back he's gonna bench Mason Mount, and my argument was no, that's not possible because they are Conor Gallagher and Mason Mount are two different type of players. Conor Gallagher is more box to box, whereas you could argue Mason Mount is traditionally a number 8 or number 10, if you like. Your thoughts on that?
I think the last year when Mason Mount played that well was at right wing. He was pressing from there and he was creating chances from there. I still think he's having a bad season and he can come back. And he's good at right wing, and we can also have Conor Gallagher in the midfield. Now you think
Hmm.
with if we play Kovacic, Gallagher, and Mount, the amount of pressing we can create, and also the ball carrying midfielders. They are like ball carrying midfielders who are not afraid to dribble past two or three players. Mount is having a bad form, I can understand, but he is capable of that also.
Yeah, yeah. You just said something about ball carrying midfielders. I think that's where I think it was Hans Master that says we haven't seen him play against a low block team, and that's important because one of the biggest issues we have with the current team is that we seem to struggle against low block teams and also teams that press us aggressively. That's when we suffer a lot. And I think most teams in the Premier League, even in the Champions League, have learned that we struggle when you press us and you press strategically and aggressively. We seem to, lose our foot. We seem to be lost. I think the team that's done it most effectively is Manchester City in that game. The game that is the first game we played against them after the Champions League final. It seemed as if they knew the passing lane for all of our players. So the question for you is this: do you think he's capable of playing against a low block teams? And I'm not well acquainted with his ability to carry the ball and move on the pitch. Your thoughts?
I think he's capable of doing that because he has that edge of giving a good ball over the top or having a cool, calm head to dribble past two or three players, because I did him do that against City last year, or sorry, in first match also this season.
Hmm.
It was also a draw, and again it was also a draw last game 2 weeks ago when it was a nil-nil Monday night, because he can go past players, and also he did that same at Arsenal.
Yeah. Good argument. I think I'll try and pay attention to that aspect of his game because that's important to us. But notwithstanding, I don't think even lack of that, if even if it's lacking in that area, I don't think that point alone is enough. Will be enough for to decide. We're not going to bring him back because of that. No, I think he's more to offer than not. I think his strength, power, pressing ability, his energy on the pitch, his creativity. All I think, yeah, and the fact that he's Chelsea through and through. I think that those factors alone trump every other thing that he lacks. Here's Glenn correcting his statement. He said, "Not cover coach. I was too fast." I think I suspected that too, but yeah, clearly we can say no. We're not going to let Kovacic go. He's been one of our best players, on his day. I don't think we'll even consider selling him. I read Jorginho. I just hate his stupid agent keeps yapping. That's what agents do,
Yeah,
and I wouldn't worry too
that's a
much about
problem.
that. Yeah, yeah, that's what agents do. So that's not really a problem for the club. It's just us fans who are forced to see it, and then we start, making jumping to conclusions or taking it too seriously. I don't think the club is worried. If the club wants him to stay, yeah, the right thing to do would be to extend his contract. So I wouldn't worry too much about what Jorginho's agent has to say. And Ray Allen said, we need two DMs in the summer, someone with the profile of Chomeni and Declan Rice. Chelsea need two midfielders. Um, let's talk about this now, Seed. This Ray Allen saying we need two midfielders. Chomeni and Declan Rice. He's suggested those are the two players we need. If, for instance, we sign these two players, does that still don't you think there will be no room for Conor Gallagher anymore? I'm not saying he's a DM, but he can be. You can use him as a hybrid DM if you like, because his defensive contributions are great. Your thoughts on this comment on the screen?
I don't think we are going to get either of Shumeni or Rice, because Rice is valued at 150 million, which is crazy in my opinion,
Mm.
because it is having an England tax. And also, I think Shumeni is on the radar of PSG or Real Madrid. He's going to go there. But I think we need a six,
But
a
but here's the thing.
replacement
Let me
for.
make this clear. I'll let you continue. I think Chow Many, if he has to, that is be cautious on what club he chooses. Because already at Real Madrid, they have Casemiro. Casemiro, I don't know how you pronounce his name. They have Camavinga also, who they signed recently, who also can play in that position. I don't think it would be wise for him to go to Madrid. But go ahead,
I
go ahead
don't
with
think
what you were
so.
saying.
I don't think so. It is wise move because he's going to replace Casemiro. He's a proper replacement for Casemiro, and they are finding their replacement. They find a Cruz
Yeah,
replacement.
but if you know Carlo Ancelotti very well, I think he prefers experienced players than younger players. Just
But
look at
he
his
popped up
teams
with, yeah.
from AC
You
Milan.
saw
Go
the
ahead.
match against Real Madrid. He was playing Valverde as a open midfielder who was running towards wing and also coming in the defense and the midfield for overloading us. And that's the reason why we lost the game there, because Valverde was pressing us like that. And that's why they are choosing the young players who are ready to rebuild and first gain experience from the greatest midfield, in my opinion, uh, that is Cruz, Modric, and Casemiro, because I was a Real Madrid fan back. So I think he's going to let them learn from them, just like Phil Foden learned from David Silva and all, and then improve his quality from there on.
Yeah, here's what I wanted to argue is this. I think I've followed Carlo Ancelotti from AC Milan. Again, what he does when he has experienced players on the pitch, I think he prefers a mix of experience and youth, but more especially, he prioritizes experience. if you followed his AC Milan team. And he did that again. I think he did that also at PSG. Now, and look at a prime example of that. I know if you look at Modric under Carlo Ancelotti, you think he's 20. But the guy, exactly. But the guy is past 30. He's 34, right? Or so. That's exactly. So Casemiro is even younger. So, but my argument in the first place is this. I think what's his name again? Tchouaméni's best choice wouldn't be. I don't think if he's smart enough. I think Madrid shouldn't be his first choice because there's no guarantee that he'd be starting games because they have more experienced players and Carlo Ancelotti prefers experience over youth. And you can see Camavinga is there, but he doesn't start every game. He usually comes on during second halves, and they paid a lot of money for him. But you go ahead with what you were saying.
I think it's about to him, but their Madrid name is enough for some players to just go there because it's a different entity and it's the prestige and royal club where people like
Mm-hmm.
to go. What Aubameyang did with Barcelona was same. Aubameyang went to Barcelona on a pay cut because he was not enjoying himself at Arsenal.
Yep. I think that's a good argument. And another question for you, Sid, do we really need two DMs?
No, I think we only need one DM, one quality DM, and that not needs to be a big star name. We can tell our scouts that we need a DM who is capable of playing ball over the top and who is good with distribution, just like Jorginho. And also, he needs to be physical because Premier League is very demanding. Not every player has the quality of Jorginho of distribution, so that his other inequalities like his physical strength and all doesn't matter. We need a physical DM also.
Yeah, again, I would say two DMs as a starting two starting DMs. I think it's not good for us. Why?
Yeah.
Because if you have two DMs on the pitch, we're sacrificing one attacking player. Already playing two sixes to me is a big issue. We play two sixes when, if you ask me, I'd say one can suffice. Then we have one more player up front. But unfortunately, I think Tuchel, he likes to play two sixes but again, the difference is that the two sixes we play are usually a mix up of a defensively minded player and an attacking player. So if we have two traditional sixes playing at the same time, I think that's not going to be helpful.
It's
Let me
going
see
to
if
be
I have
very
something else.
defensive style.
So go ahead.
It's going to be very defensive style if we play two traditional six there. We want flair of a midfielder just like Kovacic, or
Hmm.
you can say Kante and Conor Gallagher style of player who can run with the ball and also have that
Hmm.
positioning in and around the box. We don't need two natural six because we are already playing with three at the back, in which two of the defenders are always on the line, on the halfway line to clear something if there is a counter. So we
Hmm.
don't need two natural six.
Yeah, we don't need two traditional sixes. I think already people are complaining that we're a defensive team because we play two sixes. Again, why have two traditional sixes? Except if we bent on always playing with the traditional six, then we can have because I'm a big advocate for having all players in the team being starters. We don't want backup starters because if you do that, when the starter gets injured, then we have a below below quality player who's
Yeah.
what we call Chelsea players like to call backup players, which is one of the reasons why we have so many players we call deadwoods at the club. I don't think we need a two sixes. So yeah, Ray, you got your answer to that. Uh, Nick, I'm going to come to you quickly, then I'll go back to Glenn. This is this is an interactive show, so we'll be taking questions from the chat, and soon, very soon, we'll switch to talks of the sale of the club. Nick, to you, what do you think about Conor Gallagher?
Yeah, I've talked about Conor Gallagher a lot this season. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's very important. He's really playing well. He's been playing really well for Southampton all season. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, like I said before, he's better than Mason Mount right now. That's up to Mason to prove himself. But he is better. He runs like Mount, but he has a good free kick. He can cross, he can shoot, he can score. He has a bit of everything. And he defends as well. So I'll be happy to have him back next year. And I know Tuchel likes him. He already talked to him. And he told him, we'll send you out there to get more experience. And you're coming back. Of course, he wants him back. He's a great player. So I'll be happy to see him at Chelsea. It'd be really good. Plus, not just him. We have Broja to come back as well. Billy Gilmore.
We'll talk about Broja in a bit.
Yeah. Billy Gilmore. I mean, Conor Gallagher is really impressed me. Really impressed me this season.
Yeah, and Nick, let me show you this. I don't know if you're seeing it. It's being rumored that the club that they're considering selling him. What's this here from my friend Harry? This here says this is from Chelsea Loan Army that Chelsea are quoting at least 50 million to even start a conversation over the transfer of Conor Gallagher. Should they even entertain any?
No,
they shouldn't even entertain that at all.
Yeah, of course I can't say that because, first of all, we ain't got an owner. We have Roman Abramovich, but he's not allowed to sell anyone. So that's all rubbish. And
but it could be that the clubs are really, for instance, the club are really interested and are willing, to start talking with Chelsea when and if, the restrictions are lifted and then, because clubs, they make moves earlier. So there's a possibility, or no, we can only speculate. But to me, I'd say I don't really believe it.
Now, Chelsea don't want to sell him. I'll guarantee you that. And this club, Southampton, they want to buy him. They already said that. They want to buy him. And a lot of other Premiership clubs will want to buy him. But I don't think Tuchel wants to let him go.
I think he doesn't because he's made so many great comments about him, saying how we're lucky to have him. We're happy that he's our player, and that he's happy that that he's going to come back to us after his loan. Just such comments like that. Excuse me. Yeah, thank you very much. So now I want to ask you this question, Seed. How does he compare with Mount? How do they differ? Because I'm sure I've watched them both, and I can clearly say they're not both the same type of player, like we've talked about. But how would you explain the differences between Conor Gallagher and Mason Mount to Chelsea players? Because some are thinking, and I think I've heard Nick, my brother here, Nick, make that comment that he's going to replace Mount or something like that. Nick, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you not make that comment?
Yeah, I said it before. It's very possible. I said, if Mason Mount doesn't improve this year, he's been really terrible this year, then he will. I still believe it. I believe that can happen. Mount might lose his place. He might want to go after. We don't know. It's up to him to be good, so he has to fight for his place. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I come to you, Seed, I want to quickly say, Collins, I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here, and you're watching from Facebook. If you can join us on YouTube, that would be great. Like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'm saying the same to everybody who's watching. Please take some time to like the video so that the YouTube algorithm can push the stream to more people so that we can have as many people as possible. And remember, if you're here today with us, you get a chance to be selected as one of the participants of the contest that starts here on Chelsea Perspective soon. During the contest, you're expected to write a tribute to Roman Abramovich, and if you win, you get $150. And so far, I think we've selected 4 contestants, and we'll select one more contestant today. So your thoughts, Seed, can you tell us what the differences between Conor Gallagher and Mason Mount?
I think people are over criticizing Mount because we also need to say that he's young, he can still improve, and he has got around 20 goal contributions this season already, and he's playing bad. So think where if he plays on his level, how much goal contribution he can bring with the benefits of his pressing and all. Conor Gallagher is different because he's a mix of an I say 6 and 8. He's a hybrid of that system, but Mount can play at wing very good. And he showed us last season, and he's showing us this season. Although he's not that productive this season, but I don't rate him off. I think he's a good talent, and he is going to be a great player for Chelsea in the time coming.
Yeah, I think there's no question in Mount his talent. It's just I think the one thing that's very common about with the Chelsea fan base is that they jump to conclusions quickly and judge players beyond the point they should be doing. So Mount at the point was just mentally tired, and and he's been overplayed because he's played.
Yeah.
He's one of those that's played more minutes than any other player in the team. But that's an argument for another day. Nick, how do you think? What do you think are the differences between Conor Gallagher and Mason Mount?
Yeah, I think it's technical ability. I think Gallagher's better at that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not saying Mount is no good, but he needs to improve. I'm sure if we had another midfielder on that bench, Tuchel would have replaced him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on Wednesday, he was nowhere. All he did was run up and down chasing the ball. He didn't do anything, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
proof. I
But
know he's
that
young.
was the same guy who destroyed Real Madrid last season.
Last season he was good, yeah,
But he was not having goal contribution that much last season, and now he's getting goal contribution, but he's not playing well, and we are all seeing that. So I want to say that if he plays up to his level, how much goal contribution and quality he's going to bring to this squad. I
Yeah,
don't think
I think
anyone can
like
replace
I've
Mount in this squad or from the loan system that we have. No one can replace Mount. I'm
yeah,
just
that's the
saying
truth.
that.
That's the truth. I think his commitment, even when he's mentally tired, is always there. But it only makes sense to give him a break so that he can recover mentally and otherwise,
I'm
because
going
we
to
need
drop
him.
him today. I'm going to
Sorry.
drop him today and say him that he can be available for Real Madrid and he has to show us why he's of that good quality. And also, I'm going to drop Kante today.
Yeah, I think we need a win today, so it will be difficult to actually figure out who Thomas Tuchel is going to drop. But that's, by the way, Nick, you were saying something before you
yeah,
got kicked out.
yeah. Something happened. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
yeah.
sure either.
You know, I love Mason Mount. You know, don't get me wrong. I
Hmm.
just see Gallagher. You know, a lot better this season. He's much better than Mount this season. I know he's a bit. You know, Mount can play as attacking, but Gallagher does that as well. Gallagher does everything. He's a all-round midfield player where we need. He's everywhere. That's what you call midfield. That's what you call midfield player. I used to play midfield myself, and that's why I like.
No, that's why I called him a proper replacement for Kante because he has the energy level
Yeah,
same as that of
yeah, it
Kante.
could. Yeah,
He's not a
yeah,
proper replacement for Mount.
yeah. Maybe if Kante decides to go, we're gonna need both of them. But I'm just saying, Mount has to improve a lot
Yeah,
because
that's
Hey,
a different opinion that he has to improve because he's not playing well, and I also can see that, and everybody also can see that. But I'm stating the point that even if he's not playing that well, then also he's producing good numbers. Then I can give him one bad season with good numbers there because I think he's having the most number of goal contribution this season, and we are saying that Harvard is playing very well, so we can say that.
yeah, Havertz is playing really, really well, like you said.
Yeah,
And
but
Mount,
Havertz is also
yeah,
behind
but
Mount's
we're
numbers.
not scoring. We're not scoring enough still. We need more from Mount. I see how many
Yeah,
times he takes the corner and it doesn't reach our attackers. More times than he finds one. You have to look at this. He's been, especially Wednesday, it was very bad. But I know he's played a lot. He played a lot of games for England. He's played a lot for Chelsea. He has played a lot. So that's why I didn't want him to start on Wednesday because he's overplayed. But that's up to Tuchel. Let's see what happens today, who he picks today. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like we've established, Mount has played quite a lot of game, and that is beginning to show he's tired mentally. Even though whenever you have him on the pitch, you'd see still that industry that makes him unique. But decision making is where you begin to see, oh, this guy looks mentally tired, and I think that's the case. I'm going to quickly breeze through the chat, and I think my microphone fell off from where it's hanging, and yep, if I continue, you'll stop hearing me. So yeah, I think I'm going to breeze through the chat. Let's see if there's any comment there to address. And if you're in the comment section, you can ask us questions and we will try to address it. Have I read this one? He says Kante is declining. If Kante can accept less wages, then I would keep him. But honestly, if he left us, I wouldn't care because he's past his best and we used him up fully. Here's the thing. Kante, if you remember, I think we've won two big competitions with N'Golo Kante on the pitch. We won the Europa League with a half-fit N'Golo Kante. We won a Champions League with a Kante who's not also fully fit. He's a big game player. And I think the club, they understand all these things. They see it. So N'Golo Kante would have to be on clutches before the club decides, okay, now is the time to let him go. I think what do you do with the N'Golo Kante type of player? Because the truth is he's a generational talent on his own right. Nobody else, I've never seen anybody do what Kante is able to do. So I think a player of his caliber, usually what managers do is find a way to still make him valuable to the team, to still use him. I don't think Chelsea will let him go. And if you're letting Kante go because he's not going to take a wage cut, he's not going to do that. There are clubs that would be willing to even pay him nearly twice as much as what we're paying him now. Yep, I argue with you.
United would surely entertain that.
Yep, they will come for him. Even Man United will come for him. I think Liverpool will also come for him. I think even Newcastle, soon be vying for places in the top four, I think they will come for him too. I think we shouldn't even risk leaving his contract to run out or even get down to up to. I think it should be a year and a half now left on his contract, so we must do something about it. So I don't really want to, but if you want to say anything about it, Nick, you go ahead. But it is the obvious. I don't think Chelsea will let him go. Nick, are you still there?
Yeah,
you can come in.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kante, like you just said, he's a player we can't let go at all. The only way he's going to go if he wants to go, we have to give the new owners have to give him what he wants, new contract. He's very important. He had 2 bad games, but that doesn't mean he's not the best in the world. For me, I want him to stay at Chelsea, for the rest of his career, if possible. That's a sort of, it's something else I can't say. You can't lose. I'm sure Tuchel won't let that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can. His importance, his ability to adapt as his age is something that cannot be overstated. Because, like I've mentioned before, we've won the 2 big trophies with N'Golo Kante, who that is in cases where he wasn't even fully fit. So I think the best option for Chelsea, I think Thomas Tuchel will be smart enough to do that, to find a way to use him. His age right now doesn't matter. And I think if we can do that, I think he can serve us longer. And I wouldn't want us to risk, even, entertaining the possibility of him leaving because clubs will come for him. You can be rest assured. So I'm going to, again, continue going through the chat. If you see any comments that I think it's worth addressing, we will do that. Glenn says, I doubt Kante is the guy that will cause trouble because of his wages. He drives a second-hand Mini. But then again, when money comes into play, I think it will be a risk to even ask him to take a salary cut. I think that would be disrespectful. That will mean that you never valued him. And any sensible person, no matter how good of a person that person is, it will come across as insulting. So I wouldn't even want us to take that risk. So yeah, Glenn says that Kante is the guy. No, he wouldn't. But then again, you wouldn't even you know, even suggest a salary cut for him. I don't think that will make sense at all. Glenn says he's such a lovable guy. He is. You have a problem if you don't love N'Golo Kante. Maybe if you're an opposition player and you're on the same pitch on the same day, each side of fighting to win a game, then he's your enemy until the game is done. This is just Alan responding to Glenn. And this is Glenn saying, okay, let me see if there's anything else. Chelsea midfield is a problem. We nowhere near the league because of it. Kante being with us so many seasons, and we are nowhere near the league table. I don't think Kante is the issue. That's why I like that comment that a tree cannot make a forest. And this is a prime example. Kante cannot play every game, and Kante, I think he's human. So again, every now and then you'd see him underperform. That's only natural. I want to get your thoughts on this comment on the screen, Nick.
Yeah. Was that about Kante?
The comment reads, Chelsea midfield is a problem. We're nowhere near the league because of it. Kante has been with us so many seasons, and we're nowhere near the league title.
Yeah, that's very true. Because we do need someone to come in.
But this statement, I have a problem with this statement. It is not true. We've won one league trophy with Kante, and we've won even bigger trophies with Kante. Go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing is we need to win the Premiership, and we can't do that.
We've won one with him. So I'm just saying that is the part of the statement that's referring to Kante's issues. Kante, as in we've had Kante for years, and we're nowhere near the.
And because it's because
league
of
title. I think that statement is league title with him, and we've won two. Go ahead.
It's because of Kante we've won all these trophies. Don't forget what he did in Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
And when Kante is on form, we have 3 extra players on the field. Don't forget that. That's very important. When he's on form, no one can stop him. And you can't stop Kante for sure. I know what he's saying about the midfield. We need to, for me, I want Tchouameni to come next year. Tchouameni, not Declan Rice, an overrated player.
Here's one thing I want to say about our midfield. And if you're in the chat, the link to the panelists in the chat, Ty, you're still grayed out. Is saying, I think you recognize it wasn't the device you're using isn't working properly. Now, here's the issue about us getting Tchouameni or any of those guys we've talked about. If you look at them, how many goals contribution do they each have? I don't think their numbers are good either. And one of the reasons why the biggest problems we have in our midfield area is they for many years have had a poor assist number, poor goals contribution. So we should be looking at midfielders who can score goal. We should be looking at midfielders who can also create chances. I don't think Tchouameni as good as he is in terms of helping the team keep the ball, drive forward, his energy, his tackling, defensive abilities. I think in terms of goals contribution, he's not really going to solve our problem. We could still get him, but we need to mix up. We need to be looking for midfielders also who can score goals from the midfield, who has high number of goals contributions in terms of assists and goals. That will be huge for us. And not, I think, Nick, your thoughts, I hope you understand my points here.
Yeah. We definitely need that sort of midfielder. We had in the past years, we had Ballack, we had people like that, who could score. Lampard, look at Lampard, how many goals? He's a top scorer, midfield player. I can go on. Yeah, we need someone like that, but it's hard to find someone like that. But
that's where we need to go ahead.
There was talk about Dybala. He's a good goal scorer. Someone like that. But I'm sure Chelsea are looking at it. They know the problems, and Tuchel will know who he wants at the end of the day, what he needs. So we have to be patient and wait for the summer transfer. hopefully we can do business if the new owner is announced, before that. So, so we have to wait. But I'm sure they know what they're doing. Yeah, you're right. We need someone who can score from midfield. We haven't got that.
Yeah.
Kovacic can't do it. Kante can't. Jorginho can't. We don't have anyone. So, very, very important.
Yeah, and if you ask me, I think we'll start by bringing back Conor Gallagher because he can score goals. He gets in the box, and if you can get the ball to him, you can argue at least 6 times out of 10 he scores goals, and he doesn't need too much space to even score goals. He's you could say an instinctive finisher when it comes to his presence in the box. So Ty, I'm going to come to you now. Because what we're talking is that we don't just need midfielders. We need midfielders who can help us improve the goals contributions from the perspective, if you like, be it assists or goals. Those are that is the type of midfielders we should be looking for. Yeah, we can get so many, but we need to mix it up with a midfielder that can get us goals and get us, a good number of assists, not just a few here and there. Your thoughts, Ty?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, getting somebody like a Chouameni would be fine, but you also need the goal contributions from there because over the years and especially when we've won the league, it's also included having those midfielders who are able to score goals. If you go far back as so when we had Lampard and you know Essien and people like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important that we don't just go into the market and buy whatever player we see. We need players. We need players who help us get more goals from the midfield, who create more chances from the midfield, and we need to have better numbers from the midfield area. But in the past few years, especially from the reign of Frank Lampard till now, we've struggled in that aspect. And again, just see, if you look at the complaints of Chelsea Football Club, the complaint has always been how poor our attackers has been in terms of scoring. But if we can get goals from every department of the team, the pressure on our attackers, I think, will subside significantly. So I think we need to pay attention to what we really need in the midfield, because if we get Chouameni and even get Rice, that'll be good for us. We'll be defensively sound because those two guys are pretty good at defending from the midfield, and as such, will provide a good protection for our defense, which in turn will lead to good defensive records. But then again, we'll be lacking they'll be lacking in the goals contribution aspect of the whole thing. Now I'm going to go through the chat again, and I'll come back to you guys if I have any questions. And with that, I say also, please, if you're watching, be sure to like the video so that the YouTube algorithm can push it to more people who'd be interested in the current topic. And also, please, if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. That helps us. We've gained a few subscribers today, but we need more. Road to 2,000. I hope we'll get there as soon as possible. Ray Allen here says, once the new owners come, once the new owner comes, there won't be any more star signings. Hopefully, I just want our players to fit our systems, the right profile. Once a while a star is signed, I think it depends who emerges as the new owners of the club. Again, there's no telling which of them would prioritize the club's success, because the truth is, if the club is successful, then a lot of other factors that lead to profit for the owners will follow. Because in fact, even if you're business focused, if the club isn't doing well, you will not get good sponsors. But that's, by the way, we'll see what happens. Chances are new owners might decide to make some statement signings just to get on the good side of the fans, because that's important. If the fans are happy, they attend games. True Blue says, does Rice or Chouameni need scouting? The scouting department brought us Gallagher. Gilmore, Broja, Ampadu, etc. Scouting department don't get Kante, Havertz, etc. I'm not sure I fully understand this comment, but I think I get your point to a certain measure. Ty, do you understand this comment? If yes, please come in. How about you, Nick? What do you think about this comment on the screen?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, sort of what he's trying to say. Yeah, yeah. He said we shouldn't get Sherman. He's saying, hasn't he? He said that Declan Rice, Sherman. I said about the scouting. Yeah, but we have scouts everywhere. And they find great players, youngsters, and they bring them in. And we have Gallagher, Gilmore, Broja, they're top players. They become top players, and we're going to have them next year. But it's not just buying a great big money signing. We see that with Lukaku. Look what's happened there. So we need to buy very carefully. I'm sure Tuchel knows who he wants. There won't be too many. I can't see more. Maybe one or two extra players. I think we're going to get. I can't see. We don't need that many anyway.
Yep.
So,
yep. And again, I must say this. I think this coming from Glenn saying Rice is going to be 70 million at least. I think you could argue, given the exploits of Conor Gallagher, do we really need Rice? Because I think you could mold him into that playing that role. But I think we have other players. Ampadu can also play that Rice role very well. I think he's good. I think he just haven't had a good enough opportunity at Chelsea Football Club to show what he can do. But he's doing well in Italy right now. So Rice for 70 million, I don't think it will be a good buy. It will most definitely, be added to that bucket of players who overpaid for. So I'm not in support of Chelsea paying anything north of even 50 million for Declan Rice. I think it would be a waste of money, and it's not. I mean, he's not my first choice. I think my first choice will always be Chomeni. And again, I will always argue, even we should be looking beyond Chomeni to find midfielders who can get us goals, who can get us more assists, because the numbers from our midfielders in recent years has not been, it's not something to talk about. It's been awful. So we need to try and improve in that area. Josh says hi to you, Josh. Please, if you haven't, I see so many new people here. If you haven't, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. That will go a long way for us. And Mohammed Dek Abdi says, Levi Colwell, right center back next season. Again, that area, I think my choice would be to go for the Sevilla guy. What's his name again? Juice Kante. I think his price probably he's going to be much more cheaper than how much we would have paid for him last summer had we persisted on getting him, because now the number of years on his contract has reduced. I think we should be able to get him around 50, 60 million or even less. I trust Marina to even negotiate a lower fee. Let me ask you this, Nick. Do you think we should go for Colwell, or do you prefer Juice Koundé?
Yeah, I think Koundé. I heard. I haven't seen much of Colwell. I haven't. I can't really comment on him, but I know I've heard he's a very good player. He's playing very well out there, but I haven't seen him personally. But Koundé, he's supposed to be a special player.
He is really, indeed a special player. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need. I think we will go for him. Yeah, I think we will next summer.
Yeah, but I think we will go for Kunde in the summer. I think probably talks could be underway already, but you never know. Let me
Mm.
go through the chat again. We cannot keep depending on youth players. Chelsea will never win the title if this are prolonged. Pep, Manchester City club, Liverpool don't depend. Yeah, but at least if you have a unique talent such as Conor Gallagher, you don't want to lose him. I think we've been there before, and now every time we watch Mohamed Salah, every time we watch Kevin De Bruyne, we go, wow, why did we let them go? And I think we have an opportunity now. Conor Gallagher should be, even if we're not, we've decided, okay, we're not going to win big stuff if we keep relying on youth players. Conor Gallagher should be an exception. That's you, you wouldn't even to think that you don't even have to think about it twice. Look at his how well he's done at Crystal Palace, and look at his qualities overall as a player. His physical, his quick, he's got flair. He's good on the ball. He can get you goals. He can get you assists. So what else do you do you want to see? So I think even if we decided, okay, we're not going to be relying 100% on youth, Conor Gallagher should be an exception. Your
Yeah,
thoughts are Ty.
I think I can understand what they mean by you can't keep depending, but if you
Mm,
look at it, a lot of the teams right now, and especially Man City, they have a couple. I'm not saying you should fill the entire team with youth players, but you
mm,
can at least integrate some into the team, and that's what Man City have been doing even this season as well. They've been using. I don't remember this guy's name. He's young. He plays
mm,
for the youth team, but they played him in the Champions League. He scored. And I mean, they have Phil Foden, who Klopp has not Klopp. What I'm talking about, Pep has taken and helped him to improve. Having him in the team, when
mm,
they won the league. So you can add a few in, but I think it's not really an issue because we have Reece James, who was a youth player, and I mean he's somebody who's irreplaceable. But you can't really get somebody for cheap who offers what he does, despite him not being the most finished product. So I think it's fine to bring a few youth in, but just don't fill the team and just don't develop false hope for lots of people who think that because they see this
mm,
player coming in, they'll get a chance as well. It has to do with them being worth given the opportunity, and if they don't deserve the opportunity, they won't get it. But I
mm,
think
mm,
Gallagher is somebody who he's been doing quite well. He's not only doing it for Crystal Palace; he's been doing it for England, despite being a friendly. He shows the persons that he can have, and he can score goals like you said. So it would be
mm.
good to give him an opportunity and to keep him around because we need that.
Yeah,
That
if I can come in
longevity.
quickly, I think we'll start solving that issue of lack of goals and poor goals contribution in our midfield by bringing back Conor Gallagher. I think if we bring him back, you could argue we've solved that problem at least 50%. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, we need somebody. Yes, Gallagher is okay, but we need somebody who has that eye for a pass. We don't have that, and I mean, the last time we really had that was Fabregas, and I don't know if they make a Fabregas anymore, but it has to do with seeing that those little spaces, and Newcastle got this midfielder, Bruno Guimaraes, and he's absolutely terrific. He's a Brazilian, and he has great he has a great eye for passes, and he's a terrific, midfielder. So yeah, which is why for me they didn't even spend a lot on him. It was pretty cheap. So that really does feel the thought that you don't really need to be spending 70 million, 100 million for midfielders because there's a lot of top ones out there that if you have good scouts, you should be able to find, like Bruno Guimaraes and the other ones that you may see coming around the teams, that are really considered the bottom teams. So it tends to be mixed up that you have to be spending this amount. The best doesn't have to be expensive. I keep saying that, and I think people just want the quote unquote best, who's worth 100 million each time because they think that in order for the team to become the best, They need to be getting the players that are standing out.
Yeah, I think you make a good argument there, and I wanted to look at this comment here by I think Ray Allen that says, "Yep, I think we made a video here before. We're saying quality players don't have to be that expensive, but Chelsea will always be Chelsea, always looking to make a statement signing. That's where we end up. Over in some cases, I think it hasn't happened once, twice. It has happened so many times at Chelsea. We spend quite a lot of money, too much money that we should be spending on a single player." He said, we can get quality players at affordable prices, 5 million, 10 million, 14 million, 20 million, 25. We can find a gems, but we need a better people doing the scouting. Maybe that's the case because we seem to only go for big names. But they've been great. Our scouting departments have been great because if you look at the youth team, we have a lot. We have a whole. We have some good players there that we can be proud that we signed. So it's not, it shouldn't always be, we shouldn't always be spending that much money on players. But again, like I said, it is a Chelsea thing. We spend too much money on players because we had to go for big names to make a statement or something, or to get a generational talent such as Kai Havertz and others. So, but I get your point, and that hit home quickly because I'm an advocate for spending less to get good players, but our scouting department, maybe they need more work to do, or maybe needed, how do I phrase it? They need, to maybe start using data as Bolly talked about, but then again, they need to do more work. But you can't argue that I think it has not been their fault for players we've overpaid for, because usually those players, it usually turns out that they were Roman Abramovich choices and not really the scouts' recommendations. So I wouldn't blame them that much. Nick Blue, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with you mostly. Yeah, it's not that scouting, man. It's not that it's not good. They brought a lot of great players, great youth players, and they developed into really good players now. We can't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
But a big signing is always made, to please the fans. Like we were starving for an attacker. All the fans were going crazy. We wanted someone who could score. We wasn't scoring then, and they went and got Lukaku. And unfortunately, he's lost his confidence right now. But he still has a chance to get it back. I have faith in him still. And did you see Tuchel's comments yesterday about Lukaku?
No, go ahead. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I put it on Twitter from the Chelsea app. It said Tuchel said Lukaku is not going nowhere. He's my player, and I brought him to the club. So the people have been
Where he said that?
hate, and saying all this rubbish. Is Tuchel wanted Lukaku? It's not he didn't want him. He wasn't just brought in and he doesn't like him and all that rubbish. Go and read the facts, and then you see. And that was a great statement by Tuchel, just to go on Lukaku's side and say what, because he's with him every day. He knows what's going on. No, fans are too quick to judge and hate. We have too many haters in our fan base as well, especially on Lukaku. God.
I'll tell you.
Go and read the article, and you will see.
Yeah, I think I will read it myself to get to understand, because what we're reading out there is quite confusing, and you can say conflicting if you want to be on the safer side, because we're hearing what we read the other day. He was aware of Lukaku's deficiencies, and he okayed the signing. But clearly, I think we've learned that Lukaku wasn't his first choice, because I'm still arguing that tomorrow Tuchel is not known to to play with a striker and that is with Lukaku's qualities and all that. But that's by the way.
It wasn't his first choice, but there was no way we were going to get Haaland for the silly money they wanted.
We weren't going to do that. But the difference would have been...
Go read the
I got a
article,
question
go
for Nick.
read
No, let
what,
him finish. Let him finish. Nick, go ahead.
yeah, look, you have to read what Tuchel said. That makes it clear. He said he's my player and I wanted him. He didn't say I didn't want. I didn't want. He wasn't my choice. He didn't say that. He said I want to. He said in the comment, I want to put everything straight with Lukaku because he's my player. I wanted to bring him in, and you know, and he trusts him. He said I trust him. So read the article, and you'll see. He shut up a lot of these haters right now because they see it. Most of them read it. So.
Didn't shut up
No.
anyone, Nick, to be honest.
Huh? What's that?
You know why? Hi, everyone.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Sorry, I was
Go
dying to
ahead,
buddy.
Declan. You were saying something.
Yeah.
So let's say, Nick, the case was that he wasn't Tuchel's player and he didn't have a choice, yeah? You're telling me in everything that's going on now that Tuchel's actually going to come out and say he's not I didn't have a say in this player, he's not my player? Is that what he's going to say if that was the truth?
Yeah, but read the article. Look, read what he said.
No, I'll tell you what, Nick. I'll tell you what I'm comparing it to. When the interview came out, you said there was bullshit, right? When Lukaku out of his own mouth said he wants to go to Inter soon, right? You said that was BS, media crap. Out of his own word. You can't cherry pick now when it's perfect PR. Lukaku's was genuine, right? What Tuchel's doing now is protecting his players. Even if that is not the truth, he's still going to say, he's my player, I trust him, he's trying to get the best of him. He will just create more chaos if he came out and said, he's not my player, and if that was the truth, right? It will be hectic. Think of what's going on now. So we don't know if it's the truth or not, Nick, because it's the best thing for him to say.
Tuchel never lies. One thing about Tuchel, when he talks, he doesn't lie.
How do you know?
Go and read what he said.
Well, let me
How do you know he
explain
doesn't
something.
lie? It's the best thing to say.
When you finish, I want to explain something.
Yeah, the whole dressing room can be a mess now. There could be players that are worried about their future and they're not playing and all that. And he's not going to come out and just say it all. It just creates chaos. Tuchel will lie, and any manager will lie to keep a united front, a good image. You know what I'm saying? You might think they don't lie, right? But it's the best thing for them to do. If they came out and told you everything that was going on, it'll be chaos.
I get your point. I know your point. All managers do that. I know.
Yeah, I can't take that statement.
The way Tuchel is talking yesterday is different. You have to read this.
Nick, no manager is going to tell you the truth.
Okay, we've heard Nick's statement regarding how Tuchel states that is stated that Lukaku is his player and he wanted him at the club, so he's keeping him. That's good to hear. And I think I understand Declan's all points also. He's never, even if he doesn't, the point is he's not saying he doesn't. Declan isn't saying that is clearly that Tuchel doesn't like Lukaku. We can't say that because we're not there. But one point that Declan made there is that even if Tuchel doesn't like Lukaku, he's not gonna come out and say it. That would destabilize the dressing room. That makes him a bad manager immediately the moment he does that. So you guys are both, from your own, that's both correct from the angles of which you talked about that. And Ty, can you come in with what you wanted to say? Because there's something on the screen I want Declan to talk about.
Yes, I wanted to speak about the fact that the way what he said, it's different. It's not like he said that he's my player. He said we wanted Romelu and we bought him because we believed in him and still do. Has it worked out in a way everybody wanted so far? No, of course not. It is not on Romelu after 2 defeats. It didn't start these 2 last matches. We play the cup competitions until the end. We play FA Cup semi-final. We play the Carabao Cup final and the Club World Cup final, and we are in the race for top 3 in the hardest league. We've had one tough result against Real Madrid, but we cannot put this on one player. We're still working to make it better. We had a reason to spend this amount of money, and he had reasons to come here and complete this Chelsea chapter. This is ongoing.
Yeah, I agree with Mikhail who says selling Gallagher will be foolish. He will be very stupid. But I still don't believe that rumors that Chelsea are looking at, considering, quoting 50 million before they even start talking. That seems like could be clickbait. You never know. But yeah, exactly. That's what Chelsea. That's a Chelsea thing to do. So Gallagher probably for around around 50 million. Then buy 99-year-old Benzema for 97 million, and then next year we'll be crying hard. That doesn't work. Hans Wester say, and big up to you, by the way, Mikael Blumen, to you. Hans Wester says, you noticed that we sold Guehi, Livermento, Tomori, etc., to fund the Belgian. Okay,
No, that's unacceptable, man. That is unacceptable, man.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly. So
What positive does that do? This is
Sorry?
I swear, man. What positive does that bring? That makes no positivity at all. He's not been good, but what does calling him a fruitcake do? Fruitcakes are actually good, by the way.
You have time to call it that. I wouldn't even pronounce it, but I get his frustration and I understand where he's coming from. The fact we sold all those
we
players.
didn't sell them because we wanted to for them. They wanted to leave. All those names he mentioned were players who said that they
that's
wanted
important.
to go too.
Exactly. You make a good point. Go ahead, Ty. Let me let you finish.
That's nonsense because conveniently all the names you just mentioned are people who came out and said that they wanted to leave to progress in their career and to go to the next level. They didn't sell it because they wanted to fund it. That's stupid. All they did was because they wanted to leave. They say let's use this funds that we're going to be getting to fund it. We're not doing it. They didn't sell them because they wanted to keep them. We wanted to keep Livermento. He decided to leave still. They tried to offer him a contract. He still persisted on leaving. So what should they do? What should they do? Time up in a chair and say you're not going anywhere? They
should have gave him game time.
He wanted to leave. He wanted to progress.
No. The first thing they wanted was game time. They didn't get game time, and that's why they wanted to leave for game time. That's how it works.
Game time is
and
important.
Lukaku still is a fruitcake because Lukaku came out and said, right, he wanted to go to Inter, and you guys seem to like dismiss that.
You speak Italian,
and you
right?
know what?
You
and Lukaku's
Italian,
downing tools.
Italian, right?
Just so you know, he's exercising player power and downing tools. You can call him anyone can call him any name in the world, right? For me, he's. I can't wait till he leaves, right? Because
Italian,
what he's done, he's abused. I can't believe anyone defends him.
Do you speak Italian?
Here's the thing.
I can't believe anyone defends the guy.
Here's the thing.
Italian.
Hold on. Let me come, Ty. I'm coming. The fact is, we have to be honest here. The interview, he didn't clearly say he was going to leave.
Exactly.
But what he said leaves room for interpretation.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he said it. He said that he.
Yeah, no, we're not saying he said it. He the way. No, but we're not going to talk about the interview now. That's not what we're talking now.
Exactly.
This shouldn't even be about Lukaku in the first place. So this comment on the screen here that says apparently Conor Gallagher is worth 50 million, which could tempt Chelsea to sell if they have an alternative player they want. Sell Conor Gallagher for 50 million and buy Rice for 100 million. That would be the most stupid thing I've ever seen Chelsea do, which means decision making in terms of selling and buying players is getting worse. Your thoughts, Declan?
First of all, Rice and Connor play different positions, so it wouldn't be trading one for one because they could both come in and play different positions. Connor is looking to be worth the way he's going to be worth more than 50. To sell him now would be a massive, a massive mistake. So I don't think Rice would go for 100. I don't think that. But one thing I do know, right? It's going to come down to Gallagher whether he can. I mean, he's having the best season, so you can't just tell him come back to Chelsea so you can sit on the bench. There has to be something there. There has to be his position that he's going to take over, right? And if it's Mount position or it's a front three, he can probably do that. He can look at his Chelsea side now and look at the front three and go, no one there is scoring. I can take that spot. So there's some confidence there. But the big spanner in the works is that the new owners are going to come in, right? And our biggest problem, and this is what they're probably going to do, they might slide it for a year. Maybe they don't do it this season. Maybe they do it the next season. But the biggest thing they're going to address, which is what we had with Roman, is Roman gave us a bigger wage bill because we ran as almost a non-profit. Let's, for the better phrase, we ran like a non-profit club, and we used all our resources, right, to the limit without breaking FFP, right? That's how we ran, and that's how we succeeded. We're not the biggest revenue club. We had more resources to expend, where everyone else keeps their profits, and just like the Glazers, they take out money, and so on. So the first thing our new owners will do is want to drop the wage bill, because we have the second highest wage bill. We're not that far off Man United, right? And the reason Man United have that big of a wage bill, because they earn more than twice as much as Chelsea, right?
Mm.
So one sec. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
and
we can
go ahead.
yeah. So the owners are going to want to reduce that wage bill. Now, getting these players that you guys talked about, like Conor coming back, and selling a player would reduce that. Getting Rice in on a massive thing they might not want to risk that. But like I said, they also want to do a statement signing. So we're guessing the first actions of a new owner. For me, my best guess is that they might let this wage bill slide. They might make a statement signing. They want to win fans over. And you know what? If they really look into what the fans want, right? Every fan wants to see Conor come back. And so I think they're going to go with that. I think the worst move they can do is sell Gallagher.
Even the truth is looking beyond what the fans want. The eye test, that is what we're seeing. Numbers don't lie. I think he's been brilliant under of Patrick Vieira, and I think we should be happy that he's under the tutelage of such a legendary midfielder such as Patrick Vieira. And before you leave, Ty, a question for you. Like we've talked about, let us know what you think. Do you think Chelsea should consider selling Armando Broja before you leave?
I don't think so. I don't think so. If it's difficult. If they're not, we would be able to have three strikers, which is really good, because one will always be unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
It also depends on what formation we tend to use. But if
Mm-hmm.
reports should be believed, with Werner possibly leaving, and I don't know, Lukaku, somebody who's not favored right now. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case, it would be better to have a backup plan should whatever, because fans want them to sell Lukaku and Werner and then get another striker. Having Broja as an assurance plan would be better, because then if you're not willing to get somebody in, or you get somebody in and they're not living up to that standard, you can at least try something to see what happens with Broja. And of course, we have Kai Havertz as well. So if he continues to perform and Broja comes in and he's able to put on a good performance, then I don't see why we should be considering selling Broja.
Yeah, I don't think we should consider that. I think I'm gonna let you come in, Nick. And again, gentlemen, please, if you're watching, ladies and gentlemen, not to leave anybody out and to be inclusive. If you haven't, please go check out, especially from the perspective of Chelsea Football Club. Please do go check out his YouTube channel. So I'm gonna come to you, Nick Blue. What do you think about Armando Broja? Should the club even consider selling him? Because if you ask me, I'd say no. He's a far better than what we have right now. And I don't want to name names. Maybe what we have now is more experience than him, but he's quicker, he's good on the ball, he's good aerially, and also he can take on players too. Your thoughts, Nick Blue?
Yeah, no,
Okay, go ahead.
no way we're going to sell Broja. Tuchel, he talked about him as well, like Conor Gallagher. The very important is to come back. Broja is proving, what a player he is, and he's still very young. He's a great striker. Not only, he can get goals, but he's like he goes up and down that pitch. I've never seen, for a long time, anyone like that at Chelsea. He's a different sort of centre forward. So I don't think it doesn't matter which owner comes in. I don't think they're going to want to sell Broja or Gallagher. because they're too good. And then they've got to give them a chance. When they come back, they have to prove that they're better than what we have. Can they, keep Lukaku out the team? Gallagher, can he keep Mount out the team? It's going to be better for for Tuchel, because he's going to have choices, and they're going to have to fight now. It's not like now Mason Mount knows he's going to be on the team sheet. Doesn't matter what happens. He knows his name is on there, but next year it won't be like that. So I'm waiting for them to come back, plus a couple of new players, good signings, not anyone, and definitely not Declan Rice, because he's just overrated. I keep saying it, because he's English and he's overrated too much. He's good for West Ham, and that's what he's good at. I wouldn't buy him, not even for 30 million, let alone 70 or 100.
Mm-hmm.
We have sure many be better for us to buy if we're going to buy any midfield player, or Dybala, another one. We don't need Declan Rice. We have a great young talent to come back. Even you mentioned Ampadu as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's another great player. So let's see. We have to wait and see what happens with the new owner.
We'll have to wait and see. Declan, I'll come to you. Go ahead.
We know what Tuchel wants, and he wants his players back. He's already said that, and he's waiting for them. All we need now is for the new owner, which I'm going to say again, is not going to be the Ricketts. After all the meetings they had with all the supporter groups, it sounds like they don't have a chance. So I think Bowley is going to be our new owner. He's coming out. He's top favourite now. Todd Bowley and his group. I think they're going to be our new owners. Yeah,
I hope so. And we're going to go to that. I think because we have a pre-game show that starts in around, I think, 1 hour 30 minutes. But we're going to select the candidate for the day, the fifth candidate. But before that, this comment right here. This person is really sounding familiar, but that's by the way. It says at Coachila, Broja has Giroud and Tammy as examples. Do you see Tuchel changing his playing style? Broja may not want to return. Here's the thing. Broja, I think it's more to me, more complete than Tammy Abraham in terms of his ball playing ability, in terms of his ability aerially, in terms of his finishing ability. Even though he's younger, I think if you watch him play, you see he's a complete player in terms of a complete striker. If you ask me, I think he'd fit into the way we play because he's able to participate in the play more. He doesn't just wait for you to, whip in the crosses on the carpet or in the air for him to be effective. He's effective even when he doesn't have the ball. So, Declan, I'll let you come in there. But before Declan starts, as he's talking, I'll be setting up the tool to pick the fifth candidate for the Roman Abramovich tribute contest, which if you win, you get $150. You type in, this is what you need to type in the hashtag Roman Abramovich. Just type in that quickly, hashtag Roman Abramovich. And the rule is that you must be, that is on camera to participate. If you cannot be on camera, you can transfer your spot to someone else. Go ahead, Declan.
Answer the question about Broja, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like how you're touching on, Broja's a different animal to those two players that you was in the chat there. Because if you watch him for Southampton, the way he moves, he's everywhere. He does a lot of running. You check out how many Ks he puts in, right? He puts all to shame. He especially puts Lukaku to shame. Let me put that one out, right? The way he contributes to play. I think that's his biggest strength at the moment too. That he is everywhere. He's running everywhere, right? He's so fit, and that's what Havertz does for us at the moment. He puts in a lot of Ks on the field. So Broja is contributing to so much of the play off the ball, right? and then into the midfield, and then when we're attacking, he's right there, and he has that instinct to be found in that. So that is the difference from Giroud. Tammy
Mhm.
gave us a little bit of that, but not enough, right? And that's what we desperately need. That's why we need strikers that are almost like wingers, play inside forwards. We need killers that can do a bit more than just wait for the ball.
Yeah, yeah, I think you make great sense. I think Broya is a different animal compared to those two players. I think he's better than them on so many aspects. And then again, see, this is what you need to type in a hashtag Roman Abramovich tribute. So we're going to select the contestant for the day, the fifth contestant. We need 8 contestants for the competition to start. And yeah, if you win, you get $150. But remember, you have to write three tributes to Roman Abramovich: one for the quarterfinals, one for the semifinals, and one for the final. And you can wait. If you progress to the next round, then you write. That's up to you. However, the three of them must not be the same. Roman is a Chelsea legend. I agree with you. First, let's say Richardson will be. Oh my God, I'm not sure what that expression is for, but you let me know if what you're referring to. Yep. So now, okay, I'm going to show something. It's something that we can round off with. I'll share that later. Fahim shared a very important update with me via Twitter, but we'll look at it later. Declan, if you have anything to say, you go ahead. Anything else to say? At Coachila, yeah, I think we've looked at this. I think he's a very different player from those guys. Broja is complete striker, would do well under Thomas Tuchel. That's my argument. Yep, he's good on the ball. He's quick. He can be physical. He's good aerially. I mean, and under Thomas Tuchel, he can only get a better. Southampton play with natural strikers. Yeah, they do that, but that doesn't take away the qualities of that Broja has exhibited. And let me say this quickly. Bruno sucks, and Broja Gallagher must play for Chelsea next season. I think that's a must. If we would let them go, then we've made one of the biggest mistakes of the century, if you ask me. And here is J5 to Italy. He may well leave, but I think Tuchel likes him. That's one difficult part. And we have Nick Blue. And Nick, let me say this. Let me give you automatic qualification. I'm giving Nick Blue automatic qualification for the contest. So no need to go type Roman Abramovich tribute. So, Nick, let me just think there's no person here today who's interested. Let me see, be sure if I need to draw anything today. Yep, I don't think we need to draw anything today. I think just Nick Blue. So, Nick, I give you automatic qualification. So, if we get more people that are interested, we should do a draw still, but you don't need to type in Roman Abramovich tribute anymore because you've qualified. And if you don't want, you can transfer your spot to anybody who you feel can do better than you. But I know you can do better, so that's up to you. Try convincing Broja he will play. He was told he would be in the squad if he signed a new contract. I think him going alone was his choice, if you ask me. And had he been around, I think he'd play. He'd be playing quite a lot of games because the ones we have here, they haven't done better than him at all. Not even close to some of them. Your thoughts are Declan?
Yeah, 100%. You know, the irony is if they all stayed, they all would have played, and they all would have if they played in the same form they're playing now, they all would have
Mm,
had spots. You would have seen, you know, Lukaku benched earlier. You would have seen, you know, some of the defenders. Christensen probably wouldn't see a game earlier. The Remento definitely would have been first man squad. So I mean, even Billy Gilmore would have been helpful so much this season. It's crazy to think all these common players would have fixed the issue. You know, even if Rudiger left, Aspie left, you know, Gehi, and then what's his face again? The other defender, I forgot his name, the one that went to AC Milan.
mm-hmm.
I'm having a brain fart. Um, yeah, so I mean, the youth would have solved our issue. it's just crazy to think that we had our solutions with us, and we're gonna have. You know what? I'm hoping that the ownership doesn't go into the preseason, um, because the preseason's gonna. Sorry, Everton just got. Yeah, the preseason, Tuchel's gonna get opportunity to bring all these players back and see them and play, and talk to them and test them out in positions, and hopefully from there they have a good preseason, and hopefully Tuchel from there will say, I need to keep that player.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I saw Gallagher had a not bad season, but he played Gallagher in the sixth role. He played in the sixth role because we needed a six so bad. Tuchel was looking for solutions before we bought Saul. So for me, I think Mini and Rice weren't on the cards in that time, because he was already testing a whole bunch of players in the six to see the solution. And I think maybe Gilmore was set to leave, and so it's crazy to think what was going on. But I hope now they all come back and they all can see that there's an opportunity.
Yeah. How about this concern here from True Blue, who says, try convincing Broja he will play. He was told he would be in the squad if he signed a new contract, but then we know what happened. Again, I'd argue, I think it was his decision to leave on loan because he wasn't sure he would be starting as much as he's starting now. Even at Southampton, he wasn't starting that much until I think they recognized that he was the best man in front of goal. Your thoughts, Declan? Do you think it would be difficult to convince him? He signed a long-term contract before he left for that loan.
Yeah, and it was much needed. You know what I mean? You could also say that Broja wouldn't be as good as we're seeing if he didn't go there. So it's perfect for me. And when you sign Lukaku, what hope do you don't get much hope or game time so much. Do you know what I mean? You got all those attackers that have to play. Plus, you brought in $100 million player. It's hard to think sometimes to go, yeah, I'm gonna get opportunity here. No, it doesn't really work like that. So, from examples that have been shown in front of him, you need to go. That's why a lot of players left. But now, slowly, I think under Tuchel, young players are getting a go, just like Chalobah and stuff. So so now it's changing. Before, no players were getting a go. Now, especially maybe under new owner, there might be more reassurance for Tuchel, so Tuchel can think about the future. Because every manager we got was playing, from they could, from season to season. So there was no point of playing a young player to help him develop for the future, because that manager could see out the season and might be gone. You know what I mean? So if there's a reinsurance from whichever owner comes in, Tuchel gets a long-term contract, then Tuchel can say, well, I'm going to play these young players because they're going to get better, and in his time there, they're going to be there, they're going to learn his game, and he's going to be a good player asset for him. But that has to be looked beyond the season. Not every manager we had didn't look beyond the season. It had to be that season. So that's where the tie can turn. But till then, every player is going to want to go out on loan, if it doesn't look that great. But if a manager can ensure him you're going to play under me, then yeah. So I hope Tuchel can stay. They give him a long-term. I think the first thing the new owner comes in is gives Tuchel like even longer contract, and then Tuchel can start playing some young players. Because if not, if we're going with the old Roman way, which some people liked, I wasn't a massive fan of, then he's going to play. He's not going to take the risk on young players, because that could cost him his job. So he needs more control. So I think that's what it comes out to. Tuchel actually needs more control.
Yeah, I think, let me show this quickly. I think it's something Fahim shared in a group. Let me find it here. I think now I'm concerned. I was arguing before that so many wouldn't want to go to Madrid. But then again, there's a chance that this is absolute nonsense because you know how the Spanish media is. Madrid Extra says Tchouaméni wants to play for Real Madrid. The player would like Real Madrid to bid for him soon. I think that sounds like some nonsense. Your thoughts? Because if we're really looking for a good DM, I think he fits that category, that profile of player. That would be good for us. And I understand it. You wouldn't say understudy that could be switching places with N'Golo Kante. Your thoughts, Nick? If it is true that he's he wants to play for Madrid, but I'd say this is nonsense. Who spoke with him? Yeah, exactly. Sources, good question there. I think this is nonsense if you ask me. Your thoughts, Nick Blue?
Yeah, it's pure nonsense, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Nick. Go ahead.
I can't believe this. Yeah, that's all rubbish. Yes. Yeah,
it's all nonsense because the Spanish media, I think the way they operate, they first start a rumor, and then before you know, it's just I think because the truth is the moment you start talking about something as so much, I think it becomes a reality for some people, even the player. It becomes a reality for the player. I think it's somewhat nonsense. Your thoughts are Declan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, like every rumor at the moment. It's wait, what'd you call it? Nonsense. I was gonna call it something else even worse. Rumors before the windows open is just nonsense as well. But at the same time, there was never dead set Tchouaméni was going to come to Chelsea, so I'm not sure where everyone thinks. And maybe he doesn't want to leave in the first place. We don't know what Tchouaméni wants to do. He could want to go PSG. No one knows.
Yeah, and again, if you look at it, we have to be honest here. I don't think that's the best choice for him. They still have Casemiro and they still have Camavinga, who they signed recently. So that also confirms that this is nonsense. If you ask me, I don't believe it. Again, that's Spanish media. That's how they operate. They start with a rumor, and then before you know it, it becomes, they talk about it so much that it becomes a reality. Madrid getting Pogba. Yes, I remember when I said, if Pogba is going anywhere, the most likely destination will be Real Madrid, because we've been hearing he's been talking to Real Madrid. He wanted to play for Real Madrid and all that. And Real Madrid, like our friends are saying here, Pogba to Madrid, because Madrid likes that kind of deals. Yeah, of late, that's what works for them best, because they're still in financial mess. If you ask me, I'd say they haven't recovered. I think the most likely destination for Paul Pogba will be Real Madrid, and that is if he ends up leaving Manchester United. You never know. Ten Hag could come in and says he wants him to stay, and they find a solution, and the guy stays. Nick, remember I said you've been picked as our contestant of the day. So you're the fifth contestant. You don't need to. You were an automatic entry. Let me phrase it that way. You don't need to type that. Yeah, exactly. So you're part of it.
Send me the rules when you can.
You will get the rules, Nick. Just Viola will send you the rules of the game. But one I can tell you is that you have to be on camera. If you don't want to be on camera, even if in any case you can actually pick someone else to compete for you, if you feel like that person would do better than you, that's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
It'd be good to go against Declare. I want to see what he looks like. Declare, you have to
go against who?
Declare has to show himself.
Declare might decide for obvious reasons. We don't know why he has his reasons. It could be personal. It could be security reasons. You never know. Again, people do different kind of work. He doesn't
to the competition. He has to show himself.
Yeah.
Still don't know how this competition works.
Sorry.
I still don't know how the competition works.
During the quarterfinal stage, you'll be paired with someone else. And I will explain the rules better later. I'll send you a document to look at so you understand how the competition works. Tchouaméni going to Real Madrid is just unfair. I think for the reason I said, I don't think Madrid is the best option for him because they'd have three world-class DMs. And again, I've argued before that Carlo Ancelotti, he prefers experience over youth most of the time, but he does give the youth a chance. But when he has an experienced player like Casemiro, I don't think Tchouaméni will be starting too many games. Yeah, Madrid have Camavinga too. Yes, exactly. So that's why I say I don't think Madrid will be the best option for Tchouaméni. I think he'd rather come to Chelsea if you ask me. That's one of the reasons why I said that Madrid extra tweet is absolute nonsense. I don't believe that is the truth. Source the Telegraph and ESPN. We'll see what happens. And besides, he says he wants the Madrid to come and bid for him. Usually, that kind of statement shows it's absolute nonsense. Also, Riola is talking to Madrid because Erling Haaland so probably will be a double deal. So possibly, I don't think Tchouaméni is going there. I've repeated myself again. Nick, your final thoughts on the topic of the day so we can round up because I have the pregame show will be starting in just 51 minutes, and I'm going to share the link in the chat so we don't miss it. During the pregame show, we analyze the lineup for the game. Argue, debate whether Thomas Tuchel should have started another player in a certain position or whether the selection is good enough to help us carry the day. Here's the link to the pregame show, and I'd appreciate it if we all can make it to the show. Believe me, you'd love it. Any final thoughts from you, Nick Blue?
Yeah, it's the show was about Conor Gallagher, and I think most of us, if not everyone, I think most on the chat and in the panel, although everyone said, they want him back, and there's no doubting his ability. What we've seen of him this year with Palace is really good. I can't wait to see him in a Chelsea shirt. That'd be great. Yeah.
I think I agree with you.
For.
I can't wait to see him again. Just to I'll come to declare. Just everything I've talked about him is that he's different. What makes him different is that because the fact is usually when you have a player that's very skillful, in most cases they lack in the physical aspect of the game. They lack pace sometimes. Sometimes when you have a very physical player, they lack flair. Or they lack but in the case of Gallagher, he's skillful, he's good on the ball, he's quick, he's got power, he's got energy, he's a mashup of almost all the qualities that define some of the greatest players we've seen. So hopefully he'd be able to realize all his capabilities, put them to good use, and become an even better player. So, Declan, coming to you, your final thoughts on the topic, Armando Broja and Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, just like I touched on before, it's not whether I feel it's not whether how good they are. I think it's gonna come down to what makes the fans happy. I think because of new owners, I think they're gonna be so afraid of not making the fans upset from the get go. And if you look at the consensus, that majority of the fans want Conor back and Broja back, right? Maybe Broja might be a bit different, but they're gonna really try to find what the fans want. Now, if a lot of the fans are screaming Rice or Tchouaméni, that might be a choice too. The fans might be making a mistake. You know what I mean? If they see that everyone wants Rice or Tchouaméni, right, and they both could be real bad signings, right? But I feel that Tuchel might get neglected over the fans. You know what I'm saying? So Tuchel might want some random signings, right, of names we never heard of, but the owners are like, we want to please the fans first. We want to make an impression, and so there could be a name that Tuchel wants. Say Phillips from Leeds, right? Over Tchouaméni and Rice. He says, I want that player over them two. But the fans don't want Phillips so much. The fans would rather have Tchouaméni or Rice. So I think the fans might have an actual bigger say in the signings than we think in this transfer window. But having said that, it's not going to be crazy. Our wage bill is definitely their first priority to get down. So I think because this is what the fans want, right? That's why Connor and Broja get in. But if that wasn't even the case, from my opinion, they're good enough to play in the team now, and they improve us, so they should be
Yeah.
in the team.
Yeah, another thing, Declare, just let me add this. As also, as fans, I can say everyone really, all Chelsea fan base want Thomas Tuchel to have a bigger contract and for the new owner to back him first. We all want Gallagher and Broja, Billy Gilmore as well, don't forget him. And but first of all, we want them to back Tuchel. That's more important than anything else. We need Tuchel to be at Chelsea for long term. And we'll be shouting for that.
Yeah, I hope that happens, but I see that happening. Except, I think there are. Let's just be hopeful. Hopefully, it happens because if it stays for a long time, I think we will dominate for a while. Again, the reason why Chelsea has had just, if you ask me, you could call it patches of success is that lack of consistency in terms of how we deal with managers. But for instance, Carlo Ancelotti, when he was Chelsea's coach, should have stayed longer than he did, but he was fired unjustly, if you ask me. Jose Mourinho, during his first stint, you could argue not really the fault of Roman Abramovich. It was Jose Mourinho's, the way he speaks when he said, "Fire me and I walk away a millionaire." If I was the owner, I'd be annoyed too. But then again, my point is that I hope Thomas Tuchel stays, because if he stays longer at Chelsea Football Club, we'd dominate for a while as long as we give him what he wants. Because we've not been able to dominate in the Premier League. That is, we haven't had a stretch of success at any time. We had patches of success. This year we win. Next 3 years we have issues to sort out. But it has always been like that at Chelsea. So that's why it is important that Thomas Tuchel stays for long at Chelsea Football Club. And we have True Blue saying if they want to please the fans, they will sign who Tuchel wants. Again, just doing something to please the fans, it can be temporarily. So they have to have a good plan, a long-standing plan, if you want to put it that way. Do we want another expensive signing in Rice? I don't think so. Yes, I don't want Chelsea to pay that much money for Rice. He's a good player, but if you ask me, I don't think Chelsea will be the best option for him right now. And I think the player himself knows. I think he'd rather go to Manchester United, where the biggest issue they've had is lack of a defined DM. I think he'd get a chance to be a starting day in, day out at Manchester United. At Chelsea, I don't see him starting every game because Kante, whenever his feet gets to start, it is that simple. And believe me, Tuchel will find a way to make the most of N'Golo Kante's abilities, even as he ages. And these days, players find a way to take care of themselves. We have Luka Modric in his he's still 34. So Benzema, playing a great game. So we saw what's his name, Brazilian the DM did at Manchester City. So things have changed. Age these days don't affect players' performances these days. But that's, by the way, I'm going to put the link to the pregame show in the chat again. Please, if you're there, just do me a favor. Please just take some time. This a second travel via that link. Go that place, drop a like on the video. That way, Google will, YouTube will, push it to even more people. Again, if you do that, that will go a long way for us. So we have more people available for the pregame show. So please take some time, go to travel, click through the link and click the like button so we have more people for the pregame show. And if you haven't been part of the pregame show before, I think you will like it. There will take some time to analyze the lineup and discuss those players that have been picked for the game, whether they'd help us get a result. And Fraser says, Ancelotti always gets fired after 2 years. Mourinho left because of Grant. And I think, again, as director of football, I think I'm saying this person with this name, True Blue, sounds too familiar, but I'm not going to go into that. But good comment anyway. Mourinho left because of that, but then again, he was careless with his words when speaking about the possibility of him losing his job. But that's, by the way, the main point is under the reign of Roman Abramovich, I think some managers have been fired unjustly, if you ask me, most notably Jose Mourinho and Carlo Ancelotti. Even if Roman fired, what's his name, Jose Mourinho because of the DOF or because of whoever is mentioned here, Avram Grant, then it's still unjust. So my point is we need to keep managers who are doing well so we can have a stretch of time where we can say, yeah, we dominated the Premier League. With that, I say thank you to Titox, who had the time to join us on the panel. Thank you to Declan, always a great energy whenever he's on the panel. And Nick Blue, thank you so much. And Nick, your automatic qualification for the Roman Abramovich tribute contest is a way of saying thank you for you always being available at Stamford Bridge, bringing us, live pictures. I wish I could do more, but that means a lot to the channel. And with that, I say thank you to Frizz or Just Viola, Mikhail, and everybody else who's been in the chat. Ray Allen, True Blue, and then my brother, Phantom of Many Topics. He has a channel too. Go check it out if you have time. He covers travels. He was in London recently, and some good videos to watch there. And with that, we've come to the end of today's Blue Morning. I hope to see you tomorrow for another Blue Morning show. And I'm not sure what the topic is going to be yet. It depends on what's going on out of there. So thank you, and see you guys in the next show, the pregame show. And I hope to see you all there. God bless us all, and bye.